Hello, my name is Marco Rodriguez, and today for the article presentation of Biology 1406, we have the family pedigree. For the introduction, the importance of the paper, Recommendations for Standardized Human Pedigree Nomenclature, which is the article that I was able to use for this presentation, represents the ideology review of family pedigrees aiming for a clinical diagnosis to better establish an individual's risk in health in terms of death, pregnancy, and technological pregnancy procedures, terminations, and the lifelong health problems through a family pedigree and genetic procedure. Now, there were multiple authors in this article. First of all, the co-founder of pretty much the whole thing was Robin L. Bennett. Bennett is a senior genetic counselor and a professor at the University of Washington, located in Seattle, Washington. The primary contributor of the nomenclature, professor at the medical genetics at the University of Washington Department of Science, wrote a book called The Practical Guide to Genetic Family History. Another author who worked alongside with Robin L. Bennett with Catherine A. Steenhuis French. Steenhuis is a genetic counselor at the University of California, located in Berkeley, California, involved in updating the standardized pedigree of nomenclature, committed into the cancer pedigree research, and the prenatal diagnostic testing in case studies. Another author included in this article was Stephanie A. Utrich. Utrich collaborated with Robin L. Bennett and Steenhuis. She was a genetic counselor and co-founder of the 1995 Recommendations for Standardized Human Pedigree. She helped establish the conventions used for medical family histories. She worked on the detection of Down syndrome, which is trisomy 21, supported the contribution of consanguineous couples, which were second cousin relationships or even closer. Another author that contributed into this article was Robert G. Resta. Robert G. Resta is a MS, CGC, and a retired genetic counselor, working just 37 years at a Swedish medical center in Seattle, Washington. He was a genetic counselor at the University of California, Irvine, in 1983. A co-founder of the original 1995 Recommendations for Standardized Human Pedigree Nomenclature. He was a prolific writer, editor-in-chief of the Journal of Genetic Counseling from 1995 to 2001. He retired in 2020, but continued in writing. The purpose. As you can see, I provided an example of what was used in this article. I decided to choose this specific paper because of the passion I have for genetics, family pedigrees, and work ethics as a result of the certain traits that were passed down from generations after generations. In general, I've had a year's experience behind family pedigrees using the search engine FamilySearch.org and tools in order to exceed the best understanding of genetic traits and information passed down in my ancestry. Moving on, the methodology. Methods used / things should have changed and / if it was a good method. This was used as a case study of a 437 questionnaire responses by reviewing symbols and abbreviations that were used by overall genetic counselors. Multiple drafts were inputted, and by July 1994, 70 genetic professionals from an original list of 120 of the Pacific Genetics Research Group at the University of Wisconsin. Later, approved in 1995 by the PSTF liaison members. Things they should have changed / good methods. I personally do not believe anything major was necessary to change. The case study demonstrated some of the best genetic counselors and industries across the nation and provided a fair method in the conclusion of the 1995 genetic pedigree map. Moving on. How can we repeat the method? If you're interested in repeating, you need to be an individual who is highly educated in the field of science, specifically genealogy. You need the experience, the work ethic, and the money in order to succeed in this case study. In order to have the best results, you need to gather around some of the best genetic counselors across the nation and make an agreement over your case. Repeating this method is difficult and needs multiple requirements for a successful case. Results. The results of this paper concluded with the NSGC PSTFS recommendations of symbols using a genetic family pedigree. They used pedigree that was agreed upon and recommended to illustrate relationships of symbols to each other and their description/purpose. This statistical test is used for a scientific way in explaining a human pedigree using different symbols for a purpose. The results demonstrate exactly what is explained. Lastly, the discussion. The results provided a clear explanation for scientists to understand a family pedigree. Each symbol represents a piece of the family pedigree. For example, a man is used as a square, a woman as a circle, and an unknown sex as a diamond, while representing the age at the bottom. Another example includes where the individuals are deceased. They are drawn with a line across the designated shape of the sex. The people that organized this immense case study most definitely got the results they wanted. Their primary goal was to provide a good scientific method to explain a family pedigree and its genetic status. I do not believe anything needed to be changed. Thank you very much for joining me.